Right, thank you very much everyone for joining today. Okay, today we are going to be understanding how to understand market structure. It is quite evident that a lot of you guys are still making these little silly mistakes, okay, trying to identify the trend, okay, and applying some supply and demand, okay. First of all, to understand market structure, you must understand which way is the market moving. Okay? Is it bullish or bearish? So to understand that, you must understand the price. And to understand the price, okay, the best way to do this is just to follow the charts. So as you can see here, we have the USD INR for our demonstration purposes. Okay, price itself, okay, went from a supply zone to a demand zone. Okay, so this is evidence here. As price went further down, this is telling you that the trend is bearish. Okay, so when it happens to be bearish, okay, we start to draw our supply and demand zones. So what that really means, in this particular area, okay, we had more sellers than buyers. So this is evident by the price going further down. Okay, as it goes further down, it will enter an area, okay, that will stop. Okay, so price goes further down, further down, further down until it stops and it starts to reverse. The place that it reverses from is our demand zone. Okay, so the way we would do that is we will mark it with a different area, and this is telling you straight away that the bulls are going to be in command. Okay, so as price goes from a supply zone to a demand zone, you do not trade this area. Okay, you try and first identify if this is a false breakout, or is price going to go further up. As it makes a demand zone, make sure it takes out the high, then it continues. It should take a retest and then continue to the upside. Okay, remember, in demand zones we're buying, and in supply zones we're selling. So supply zones is another way of saying resistance, and demand zones is also known as support. So we buy at the bottom and we sell at the top. So as price goes further up, we then mark our zones carefully, that where price reacted from. Okay, so as price is going further up, okay, we identify whether it's a supply zone or a demand zone. Okay, so in this particular area, price went from a demand zone, goes further up, does a little retest. Okay, price did not go below here, plus price did not go from the original zone. Price goes further up, comes back to the same zone. So this zone has now been validated as a good demand zone. So price, how it rockets up, is telling you that it's a good zone. So price is up, demand is up, bulls are in control. So demand is where the bulls are, and supply is where the sellers are. So as it goes further up, it'll go to a point where the price will react from, okay? And then it'll start to reverse. As it reverses, this will be our first zone of supply, okay? So as it goes to supply, that means the sellers are based. As soon as the price reacts from that zone and it does a retest, that is basically where you should be entering for your selling. Okay, remember, you're selling from the top and you're buying from the bottom. As price goes back in, does a retracement, does not go back in, and it goes further to the downside. This is telling you now the selling pressure is continuing. Price reacts, so bearish continuation isn't there. So this is telling you now that the demand zone has been created and the price is going further up. To validate that, price goes up, price does a retest, it doesn't go below this demand zone. So this is telling you that the demand zone has been created and the buyers are here. So every time you see this, you must be able to then go, okay, if the demand zone has been created, we look for buying opportunities as close as possible to the demand zone. When we're selling from the supply zone as close as possible from the supply zone as soon as it exits. Okay, so this is telling you how to identify the trend, how to understand market structure, and also where to apply your supply and demand zones. Okay, applying supply and demand zone is the best way for you to understand where the buyers and sellers are. Okay, if you don't know where the buyers and sellers are, okay, you're going to be trading anywhere. Okay, plus we're also doing from a higher time frame, which is the 1 day, so this would be easier for us. So if I just mark this zone at the top of here, okay, and we now go to a 1 hour time frame. Okay, this is telling you straight away, compared to where price reacted from, okay, how the price is going down. Okay, as price goes down in a lower time frame, okay, this will make more smaller supply and demand zones. Okay, so you identify them and you draw them out so that you can say, okay, price hit an area, hit a supply, sellers are based here, so the market structure is about to shift. Price goes down, hits another area and reacts from that. So this is telling you now the demand zone here for the lower time frame has been created. So we mark that down as the 1 hour demand. And this we then look at from smaller time frames to see if this is going to be invalidated or not. As price goes away from the zone, it must come back, do a retest to invalidate that. So this means that the price should not go below here, otherwise this particular zone is invalidated. So the trend, overall trend, will be continuated rather than the trend reversed. So as we then make, it asks us to make higher highs, we started to track the price. So we have our small mini 1 hour demand zone. We also have our temporary supply zone at the top. Because it hasn't gone above here, we go into the 5-minute time frame. Okay, on the 5-minute time frame, we now look for areas of market structure for that area. Look at if the market is changing, look at how price is reacting, and look at where the price is. Okay, is the price anywhere near our initial zone? If it is, wait for a reaction, then buy at the bottom, okay, and sell at the top. This is the best way to understand market structure. This is the best way to apply supply and demand, and this is the best way to identify the trend. By doing so, okay, you are making sure that you are trading with the trend and making sure that you're locking your profits at the same time. Okay, right. Is this making sense to you guys? Any questions on this? So the way you identify the reversal is how price reacts. So if we look at from the hourly point of view, okay, so price goes up to a higher frame, okay, and we look at what price does at that range, okay. So when price starts to make higher highs, but no longer can make higher highs and starts to make lower lows, this is where you start getting ready for the trend reversal. Okay, the trend reversal will happen like a ball going into the air at the highest point, and then it starts to dip. Okay, you must be able to see this. Okay, trend was going up, trend starts to go down, trend goes up, trend goes down. Okay, Identifying this on lower time frames is the best way to understand this so that you can identify it by yourself. Does that make sense? Good. Okay. So doing this on a smaller time frame, okay, it will make you understand how to analyze the market, how to understand market structure, and how to go with the price. Okay. If you're not following the price, okay, you're not going to be able to understand what happens. Okay. Remember, we are trading without indicators, so our analysis has to be on point. So we buy at the bottom, at the demand, and we sell at the top, okay? We sell, if you want to look at a different way, we buy at support and we sell at resistance. Supply and demand is basically a higher version or advanced version of support and resistance, okay? If you want to classify support, that's absolutely fine as well. But this is the best way for you to identify, okay, where did price react from? And as price moves away from the zones, make sure that it doesn't go into it again and break it through. So this is telling you overall that that zone would be invalidated, okay? So this will hopefully make more sense as you do more and more practice. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, okay? Any questions from this? Right, okay. So as you got no more questions with this, okay, short, sweet calls, okay, will overall make you better, okay? I will send you the list of stocks, but the main thing is identify market structure, identify how to draw supply and demand zones, and understand how price is done. Once you've done that, it will be easier for you to do it long term, okay? Right, same way you draw supply and demand is the same way you're going to draw support and resistance, okay? Support at the bottom, resistance at the top, okay? Right, so that'll be all for today, okay? Draw your charts, mark your charts, understand the same way, and then send it back into the group. Right, thank you much everybody for your time today.